Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Susan Cooks Vegan, and of course I'm Susan and we're going to be cooking some delicious vegan recipes today. But before we start, I am going to ask you to take a quick second and to like and subscribe to my channel. It not only helps me, but it helps you not to miss out on any more delicious vegan recipes coming your way or any giveaways I might be doing. Hint, hint. And then put your aprons on, put on some music, and get ready to cook some deliciousness with me. And as always, find my recipes at my blog, susancooksvegan.com. And of course, I'm everywhere else. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and I've got some fun videos now on TikTok, so you can find me there. So follow along, you guys, and let's get ready to make some delicious food. What I have here is 1.5 cups of berries. They're raspberries. I had frozen from the summer. If you don't have raspberries, really any berry can work in this recipe. It's so versatile. So what I have is, or you could use jam, that works too. So I have 1.5 cups of berries and I've just cooked down. I'm gonna add just the tiniest bit, like about 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla, just for that lovely rich flavor. And to that we are going to add 1/4 cup of maple syrup to get that lovely sweetness that jam has and that we want in our topping. So we're just gonna cook this down until it comes together nicely. And you can either keep the seeds. I'm gonna strain the seeds out of mine because I don't like them getting stuck in my teeth. That's just my personal preference. You can keep the seeds or not. And then if this was chunkier, I would blend it, but it's not. See, it's quite smooth and there's not a lot of chunks in it because I guess they were frozen. So if your berries are chunky, then run it through a food processor or a blender to get it nice and smooth like this is. But that's come together quite nicely. So there we have our topping. These are the type of dates I'm using for this recipe. They're called Medjool, and you can see they're quite soft. Make sure when you use them, they often have a pit inside. Make sure to pit these or else your food processor will break. So pit these. If you don't have Medjools, or if you do and they're just really hard, what I'm gonna do with mine, just to make sure that they blend really nice, is I'm just gonna pour some boiling water over them so that they just soften nicely. So here's what I'm using. And this is also how you make a date paste. That recipe is on my site. I'll link it here. And it makes like a beautiful caramel. So I'm just gonna soak these just for a few minutes to soften them up because mine are quite soft, but if yours are very hard, then you might wanna soak these for a bit longer, maybe an hour or so. The first step in making this crust is we're gonna put 1 cup of raw almonds into the food processor. And it's important to do this first because essentially what we're making is almond flour, and you've all seen it in the store. It's really expensive. This is a cheap way to make your own. All right, so we're gonna blitz these up. And there you go, that's pretty good. Be careful we don't do it too much or else you will get almond butter, which we do not want. But so that's a nice fine consistency. We'll blend it a bit more so it'll get it finer as we go along. So next to the 1 cup of almonds, we'll add 1 cup of whole grain rolled oats and 4 tablespoons of vegan butter. You can also use coconut oil, but it adds more of a coconut flavor. I just prefer the mild taste of vegan butter, but it's totally up to you, whatever you prefer. We're gonna do a little pinch of salt, and then we're gonna add those dates that I was soaking. So we're gonna add, and this is 6 dates, not about, 6 dates. And we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of pure maple syrup. And that is it. That is all that's in this crust. Okay, I'm gonna blend this together. You can see mine got stuck. So I'm going to use a spatula. And isn't this true? Happiness is homemade. I love this spatula. Okay, so we're just gonna help it along and just spread it out a little bit. Okay, I am looking for a new food processor, by the way. If there's any companies out there that want to give me some to sample, mine is getting a little worse for wear. So we just got to keep moving it down until we get the consistency we want, which is a bit finer than that. Okay, there we go. I'm happy with that. So next we're going to press this into our molds. So to start, I do have a non-stick bar tray. Now you can always just put these in one big tray and cut them, that's fine. So I'm gonna spray it with some non-stick spray just to make sure that everything comes out. Even though this pan is non-stick, I don't always trust them. So just better to be safe than sorry in this situation. So we have an 8-bar non-stick tray. You can use a cake pan. You can turn this whole recipe into a cake if you like. So it's very versatile. So we're just gonna take a scoop of the crust we made. We're making the filling later. And just scoop it into the bottom and press it down. Oh yeah, it's very non-stick. It's sliding out already. Great. And if you have a different pan, you'll just press this crust into whatever pan you're using. This recipe is good for 8 bars, or you can make 1 cake with it, or you can make like little single serving cakes, whatever you want to do. So let's start. I'm just gonna make sure they're all about even. Okay. All right, perfect. Used up all my filling. So I'm gonna show you a little trick I do. And so you see how this has been very sticky and it's been sticking to my fingers? Place some parchment paper over and really press it down. That way it won't stick to your fingers. There you go, and you see it's all nice and smooth and even. So I'll just do that for the rest of them. Okay, great. Okay, now let's make our filling. Now for the filling, we are going to add 2 cups of cashews. These have been soaking for a couple hours. I have a Vitamix, so I can get by with not soaking them too much. If you don't think you have a powerful blender, then make sure you soak them for at least a few hours in hot water, or overnight preferably, because then this will make your life so much easier. Now we're gonna add half a cup of full fat coconut milk. Do you see how that has the lumps of fat in it? That's what we want. We want that delicious, creamy fat. Because it is good fat, right? And then we're gonna add a heaping third, because I like mine sweet, of powdered sugar. And I'm using powdered sugar because I want to keep this cake white, and it also has a little bit of cornstarch in it, so it's gonna help thicken up the mixture. But you can use regular sugar or preferably maple syrup, that would work as well. And then we're gonna add just a tiny little bit of vanilla, just to give it, this is about half a teaspoon. I just want it to give some vanilla flavor, but I don't want it to darken the cheesecake, because sometimes vanilla could do that. I'm waiting for some white vanilla to come, but it hasn't. Amazon hasn't brought it to me yet, so. Okay, and then the key here to make this taste really cheesecake-like, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Here, I'll get the camera to see it. There you go. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's what's gonna make this taste cheesecakey. All right, I think that is all we need. No, we are good. All right, now we are gonna blend this up. Okay, and there you go. Oh, it's really good. Okay, let's pour this in our molds. It's time to fill our little bars. So we're just gonna pour this delicious cream on top. And there we go, those are all filled. Now here comes the fun part. I've taken all that beautiful jam I made earlier, and I've put it into this plastic piping bag. You can also use a sandwich bag, put it in and cut the end off. That will work as well. But we're going to do a few dots of this jam onto the top. Oops. It doesn't really matter sort of how you get it on there. And we're gonna poke it through so it goes down into the bar, and then it's gonna make this beautiful swirly shapes with it. And there we go. I'll clean the edges when I'm done. So just make some big dots on it. Oops. That one's gonna have lots of raspberry in it. And there we go. I'm gonna put this in the freezer for at least 4 hours. Overnight would be preferred, but because they're little bars and not cakes, they'll freeze a bit faster than if you were making a full-size cake. So there you go, guys. I'm gonna keep decorating for a few minutes, and then actually I think I'm done. These all look pretty good. I have a little bit of this jam left over, and I will probably have it on oatmeal in the morning, because that will be really good. Yeah, I'm really happy with these. Okay, we're gonna clean these up a little bit, just around the sides, and pop them into the freezer. Don't these look beautiful? thank you so much for tuning in and following along. I'd love to see your photos or comments about how you like this recipe or anything you'd like to see me do in the future. I'd love to hear from you guys, so feel free to reach out. I will get back to you. I'm really good with that. And in the meantime, go to susancooksvegan.com for the full recipe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and I have some fun videos now on TikTok, so you can find me there. So stay tuned for the next recipe, and remember to like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming ones. I got some good ones coming. And in the meantime, guys, happy cooking. It's a pleasure doing this with you. Thank you for your support.